I really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like, everybody they tiptoe around with this social media, but what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequence.
Stop scrolling, because what I'm about to tell you is the kind of moment that makes you sit up and wonder how things got this far. Imagine this. Outside a courthouse, in front of flashing cameras, screaming fans, and reporters desperate to capture every second, Aaron Pierre leans in, looks Iman Shumpert dead in the eyes, and says the words that made the crowd gasp in shock. "She's mine now." And just like that, chaos erupted. Fists flew, Teyana screamed, and the internet exploded with opinions, memes, and outrage. But this wasn't just a fight between two men. This was the breaking point of a love story gone terribly wrong, a story of betrayal, heartbreak, and ego colliding in the most public way possible. To understand how we got here, we have to rewind. This didn't just happen overnight. The tension between Aaron and Iman has been bubbling for months, maybe even years, and anyone who is paying close attention could see it coming. Iman, once the proud husband standing beside Teyana Taylor, a woman he called his queen, now finds himself fighting tooth and nail just to be part of her life and their children's. Aaron Pierre, on the other hand, stepped into the picture quietly, at first just a rumored friend, then a supportive presence, and finally, something much more. To some people, he became the man who offered Teyana comfort when her marriage was collapsing. To Iman, though, he became the enemy, the man trying to take everything he loved away from him.
And here's the thing.
When two men believe they have a claim over the same woman's heart, the outcome is never pretty. The cracks started showing long before this courthouse fight. There were whispers of late-night arguments, accusations being thrown back and forth, Teyana caught in the middle of two very different kinds of love. Iman was passionate, fiery, unwilling to let go. Aaron was calm, steady, the kind of man who played the long game. But both wanted the same thing. And that's where the problem started. The real turning point came in court. That day was already heavy. It wasn't about music, movies, or celebrity headlines. It was about family, custody, responsibility, and trust. Inside the courtroom, the air was thick with tension. Iman sat with his lawyers, his jaw clenched, his eyes locked on Teyana like she was slipping further away with every passing second. Aaron was there too, not as a witness, not as a participant, but as support.
He didn't speak.
He didn't make a scene, but his presence alone sent a clear message. He wasn't going anywhere. And Iman noticed. Every glance, every quiet exchange between Teyana and Aaron was like salt in a wound. When Teyana broke down crying during the session, wiping tears as her lawyer argued for stability in the children's lives, guess who reached out with a tissue?
Not Iman.
Not the man she built the life with. It was Aaron. That small, simple gesture in front of Iman, in front of everyone, was the spark that lit the fire. By the time court ended, you could feel it, the storm brewing just beneath the surface. Reporters gathered outside, cameras ready, fans waiting to catch a glimpse of drama. And drama is exactly what they got. Iman walked out first, his face tight with anger, pacing near the steps as his security tried to calm him down. Minutes later, Aaron appeared, calm as ever, walking straight toward the exit, straight toward Iman. The crowd's energy shifted instantly. Phones went up. People started yelling. They knew something was about to happen.
And it did.
Iman stepped forward, pointing a finger at Aaron, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Stay away from my family," he shouted, loud enough for every camera to catch. The crowd roared. Aaron didn't flinch. He didn't yell back. He just stared at Iman with this unsettling calm, like a man who already knew the outcome. He spoke low, measured, but firm enough for everyone around to hear. She made her choice. Those words were bad enough. You could see Iman's face twitch with rage, his fists clenching at his sides. But then Aaron said the line that will be remembered forever. He looked Iman straight in the eyes and said, "She's mine now." The crowd gasped like it was a movie scene. People screamed. Reporters nearly dropped their microphones. And in that instant, Iman snapped. He lunged forward, shoving Aaron, yelling words lost in the chaos as security scrambled to hold him back. Paparazzi pushed closer, fans screamed Tayana's name, and in the middle of it all, Tayana herself came running, tears in her eyes, begging both men to stop. She stood between them, her arms outstretched, her voice breaking as she yelled, "Enough. Stop this. I'm not a prize to be claimed." Her words cut through the madness, but neither man seemed ready to back down. Iman was furious, yelling that Aaron had no place in his family. Aaron stood his ground, insisting that Tayana had already moved on. And poor Tayana, her tears told the truth. She wasn't just fighting to calm two men. She was fighting to hold together the pieces of a life that had been shattered. Within minutes, videos of the fight flooded social media. Different angles, different captions, but the same explosive moment replayed over and over. Aaron saying, "She's mine now," and Iman losing control. Twitter erupted. Instagram lit up with clips. TikTok turned it into a meme, but also a heated debate. Team Iman argued he was just a man fighting for his family, a father who refused to be replaced. Team Aaron claimed he was simply standing up for the woman he loves, refusing to be intimidated. And somewhere in the middle was Team Tayana, fans begging both men to leave her out of their egos and let her heal in peace. But here's what makes this story even more complicated, more layered than it appears on the surface. This wasn't just a public outburst fueled by jealousy or ego. It was a moment that laid bare everything that had been unraveling behind the scenes for months, maybe even years. It was the spark that ignited a fire, but the smoke had been building long before anyone noticed. For Iman, this wasn't just about Tayana standing next to another man. It went much deeper. It was about control, about watching something he once held tightly slip through his fingers. It was about pride, the kind that can't bear the idea of being replaced or forgotten. Most of all, it was about fear. The fear of becoming irrelevant in the lives of the people he still loved, especially his daughter. Watching Tayana move on wasn't just painful, it felt like an erasure of everything they had built together, even if that foundation had long begun to crack. For Aaron, this moment wasn't just about making a scene. It was a declaration. He had fallen for Tayana in a way that felt undeniable, maybe even inevitable. But loving someone who is still emotionally tangled in a past like hers came with consequences. His presence was a threat, not just to Iman, but to the story that had already been written. Aaron wasn't just claiming love. He was drawing a line in the sand, letting the world, and Iman, know that he wasn't going to fade into the background. He wasn't going to be another man she dated quietly and left when things got complicated. He was in it.
And he wanted to be seen.
And then there was Tayana, stuck in the middle of a storm she never asked for, exhausted by expectations from both sides. Both men wanted her in different ways, but neither seemed to truly see her. Neither fully understood the weight she was carrying, the heartbreak, the public scrutiny, the constant balancing act between being a mother, a woman, and a symbol. She wasn't just someone to be won, she was someone trying to survive. And in that courtroom, as emotions exploded and truths were weaponized, it became clear. This wasn't just a love triangle. It was a war over identity, legacy, and the quiet pain of being misunderstood by the very people who claim to love you. The craziest part? This is only the beginning. As intense and chaotic as things have already become, the real storm is still gathering. The next court date looms like a shadow on the calendar, close enough to feel, yet far enough to build dread. And after the explosive confrontation that just played out in front of everyone, one thing is crystal clear. Whatever's coming next is going to be even messier, even uglier. This isn't just about legal battles anymore. It's not just about custody papers or visitation schedules. It's become personal, deeply personal. The courtroom has turned into a battlefield, and Tayana is caught right in the crossfire. She's not just being asked to choose between two men, she's being forced to navigate a war of egos, emotions, and old wounds that never properly healed. And the real question now? It isn't just who Tayana ends up with, or even who the judge sides with when it comes to custody. It's whether these two men, Iman and Aaron, can stop themselves before the emotional warfare turns into something far more dangerous. Because once words like, "she's mine now," are thrown out in the heat of battle, They're not just expressions of love or anger. They're warnings. They're declarations of territory, of obsession, of a fight that may not have a clean end. What started as heartbreak could easily spiral into something darker. And everyone, especially Tayana, knows the worst may be yet to come.